Okay, so let's talk about something that most marketers never realize. Viral content isn't luck. It's not timing. It's not, look, the algorithm magically picked me. It's about a psychology. It's about the psychology that your viewers go through every single time they watch your content. Right. So your job isn't to make a great video. Your job is to guide people through the different psychological points that would get people to where you want them to go to. So I have referred to these as gates within the presentation. And so the first gate is the pain point acceptance, right? Before anybody cares about your solution, they have to feel the pain you're solving. And there are only four pains that move humans. It's either they don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, they don't have enough health, or they don't have enough access, right? So if you don't hit one of these in the first few seconds, people just scroll. So your content didn't fail, it just didn't activate the viewer. And here's the trick that most people miss is they usually just go directly at the pain. You know, do you want to make more money? But that doesn't usually work. What usually works is something that I like to call, there's the one standard deviation away rule. So if you say, if you want to make more money, people instantly check out because that's their BS detector going off. But if you say, if you want to grow on social media, then they'll lean in. And it's the same underlying desire. It's still for money, still for status, still for opportunity, but you're approaching it from a believable angle. So use that indirect path because that will create a higher trust and then a higher retention. Then the second gate is trust building. Once they feel the pain, is when they hit the second gate, which is trust, which is visualized as a hierarchy. Viewers won't follow your advice unless they believe you can solve the problem. And trust has several levels, right? You don't necessarily have to show your social proof, but you can prove that you've solved it for people like them. You can have a proof that you've solved it for yourself. You can have the social following or the third party validation. You can have evidence you've been where they are. You usually see this with weight loss coaches, right? I used to be here, this used to be how much I used to weigh, and then this is how much I weigh now. And then you can use common ground and report, and then you can use professional presentation. Now, you don't need to activate all six, but you do need at least one of the top three. So if you've helped others, just show it. If you've done it for yourself, show that. If others vouch for you, that works as well. Everything else is secondary. People aren't asking, is this good content? They're asking, do I trust this person with my time? And then the third gate is, of course, now that they trust you, you have to have a plan of attack because trust isn't enough. They need to believe you have a different, better plan than the one they've heard 100 times before. So it's all about contrast and structure here. The first construct, like everybody else says, do Y, but here's why that doesn't work. Or here's why Z works instead. And when you position your insight against conventional wisdom, people snap to attention. Then structure it, the brain loves lists. So you can follow it up with saying, here are the 3 steps. These are the 5 principles. And so when your content is structured, people feel smart following it and they stay longer because it feels easy. Messy ideas burn attention. Organized ideas extend it. So once you've done that, you reach the fourth gate, which is likability. People ask, do I actually want this person to guide me? And then 3 things drive likability, which is energy, simplification, and authenticity. By energy, I mean you need about 50% more energy than your normal conversation. Like, look at how I'm speaking now. If you're to see me in a normal day to day interaction, I'm not this energetic, right? But I'm not fake hype. Do not fake hype it. Just more presence and more urgency. Simplification is you have to make people feel smart, not stupid. If you talk in a way that forces them to work, they leave. If you talk in a way that makes everything click, they love you. And then, of course, the third thing is you have to be authentic, which is you have to be human. Even if you're marketing for a business, for a company, for something that is just brick and mortar, you have to personify it. It has to be human. And so, because authentic flaws beat manufactured perfection every time. If you're too polished, you're unbelievable. And people follow marketers and businesses or creators they like, not the ones who sound smart. And then comes the fifth gate, which is making sure you keep their attention. This is where most content dies. If you give away all the value up front, people leave the second they get what they came for. You need to open loops in their brain. You need to give them questions they need answered, right? So lines like, oh, you probably see this usually. You see lines that go, oh, wait until you see tip number three. Oh, the last clip is wild, or the last strategy is the most important, or most people get this part wrong. These create psychological tension. And the only way to release that tension is to keep watching or to keep reading. And so the best marketers don't just deliver information, they build anticipation. Now, the last gate is about action. This is where you close the loop and turn attention into action. And you have two steps here. The first step is you have to close the loop, right? So you have to remind them of the pain you promised to solve and show how your framework delivered or show how your content delivered. So you can say something like, you started this video wanting to fix X, and now you have a plan. And that signals that watching was worth it. The second thing is surprise them with value. Give them more than they expected. It could be a summary, it could be a bonus insight, an extra step, or a quick template. Over delivery creates a psychological imbalance. They feel you gave them more value than they paid for with their attention. And when humans feel that way, they naturally want more from you. And that's how viral content turns into followers, fans, and eventually customers. So that's the journey. You have 6 things to focus on, each one sequential, each one essential. Pain, trust, plan, likability, attention, and then action. Most marketing only just focuses on one or two of these, and that's why it doesn't really perform as much as you want them to.